Hi. Hi, Sister Sophia. Hi, I haven't gone live yet. Have I gone live? Wait, I haven't gone live yet. Hi, are you there? Maybe you're not there yet. Hold on, let me. Hi. Hold on, I'm still setting up the live feed. You're muted, but I have not, I'm still trying to get the live stream on Facebook because I'm having trouble multitasking. It is Mercury retrograde and, live on Facebook. Oh, I have opened that up now 4 times. That's what's happening. It's opening up in the background. Here we go. All right. Today we're talking about the wounded healer. The wounded healer. Yeah, let's talk about that. The wounded healer. Share on your timeline. Boom, go live. All right, and Simone is joining us too. Now, today, let's see, hold on, I got it up, yes. Okay, hold on, let me make sure it's actually working. Yes, all right. Oh, and I should put in there about the Zoom. I need to put that in here as well. Hold on 1 second, y'all, I'm coming. Copy invitation, copy invitation. And then come over here, edit video. Uh-oh. I'm just trying to put the Zoom information in, so I'm going to just do it here. Hopefully that works. All right. So, ladies, welcome to the League of Badass Butterflies live stream. We do this twice a month. Okay, so this is the bi-weekly live stream where I write a blog and post it on Tuesday, and then we talk about it on Thursday. Okay, so this week, have you all had a chance to read the blog? Okay, so the wounded healer, is that why you're here? Because you can relate to the wounded healer. I know. And look, these are meant to be an opportunity for us to kind of talk and share our views. So I'm going to reference the article. I'm going to go over it, talk about a few things for maybe 10 minutes, and then I'm going to open up the floor and we can just dialogue about whatever's on our mind around this topic. So I had the article up. What happened? I don't know. Hold on just a second. Let me get back to my blog. There it is. And so this whole idea of the wounded healer is something that I really love because it's the story of my life. I'm going to be really honest with you. I am a woman who I'm joyful, I'm appreciative, I'm optimistic, and my heart has been broken over and over again since the time I was little. You know, it started at a young age with heartbreak. And I'm a blessed woman. I've got a very fortunate life. I've not had a lot of crazy abuse, but yet the heartache is just there, So this morning I woke up and actually, I'm going to actually share with you all. I made a post about this in one of my other groups. Hold on, I'm going to share with you all what was going on with me this morning. Ooh, you guys are going to be like, Crystal, what's wrong with you? Why are you sharing this picture? But I'm going to share it because in the name of authenticity, okay? In the name of authenticity. Here we go. Can you see it? Can you see that big old teardrop right there? That was some serious crying that I was doing this morning. And these tears this morning came because I'm doing a 40-day fast. And the fast is so that I can move closer to God, because I'm distracted by things in life. I'm distracted by the dog. I'm distracted by my work. I'm distracted by my friends. And I invite these distractions. I invite distractions because I don't want to be still. I don't want to be silent. And so I'm doing this 40-day fast from distraction. So no escaping. So I have to just feel my feelings. And this morning I got up and I was about to go out on my run, and I was getting dressed for my run. And I'm like, I feel panic in my heart. And so I just stopped and I looked in the mirror. This was in my bathroom. I looked in the mirror and I just broke down into some serious tears, and it went on for a good 30 minutes. I could not stop. I could not stop crying. And the tears were from the wounds that have not been healed, that I escape by listening to audiobooks, turning on music so I don't have to be in the stillness or in the silence. Even sometimes when I was running, one of the reasons I started crying in that moment was because I told myself I have to go and do my hill training. It's uphill. Okay, it's hard. 5 miles of hill training and no music, just me and my breathing and my steps. And it just, again, I felt like my best friend was being taken away. I couldn't do it with the music. And it made me break down and cry. And I realized that I'm reliant on something that is outside of myself, right? And this is all stemming back to the original wounds of this healer. So most of the people who are following me here in my social media and my blog, you all have a desire to be a healer. You're very spiritual without a doubt, but you probably have a desire to be a healer or a coach of some sort. And what happens is there's this mindset that people run away from being a healer, or they run away from being a coach because they think that coaches need to be perfect in order to coach other people. And that is just not true. In order to coach other people, you just need to want to coach other people, and you need to care enough about other people to do what's right for them. And a lot of times you can help people, you can do right by people because you have been wounded in your past. And one of my strengths is recognizing heartbreak, disappointment. Simone and I were talking about this earlier today. Recognizing a whole slew of really dark emotions. And because I feel those emotions, because I felt those emotions, and because I have gone there with those emotions, when my clients come and they're having those emotions, I am able to immediately identify what the source of the problem is because of my relationship with those dark emotions. I know them, I recognize them. My intuition around them is very strong. So this makes me a great ally for people who are suffering and people who have a problem even with naming their emotions. A lot of people don't have a vocabulary for emotions. They know yes, I mean, they know I'm happy, I'm sad, I'm mad. That's about it. You know, that's all they can say, or they know I'm okay. But they're missing all the nuances of, you know, I felt horrified by that. I'm grief stricken. You know, they don't have that. So we can bring that to them. But I gotta say, if you've never let yourself experience those emotions, or you've never been blessed with having those kinds of painful experiences that rip you apart, then it's going to be hard for you to help other people. You know, it's going to be hard for you to be able to relate to them, to know what they're feeling. And as a professional spiritual life coach, you really want to stay in your lane. So imposter syndrome is a very real thing. It's that feeling of, I'm doing something that I don't feel like I'm qualified to do. That's what imposter syndrome says. It gets in us and it says, you're not qualified to do that. And a lot of people have an attitude that says, well, you're qualified, you can do whatever you set your heart to do. And I'm saying, no, you're not. You may not be. Yes, you can do things that you put your mind to, but if you haven't put your mind to it, then you might want to back off, because maybe your imposter syndrome is telling you something that you need to look at, you know? So I have experienced tremendous loss, but I've never given birth to a child. I don't know what it's like to give childbirth, and I don't know what it's like to lose a child. So when I have clients that are dealing with that, I work with them to the extent that I can, but then I will refer them to someone who is better qualified to help them with that particular type of loss. Because number one, I stay in my lane. And yes, God will channel me things, but sometimes God is like channeling me, like, yes, you need to refer her to someone who can actually help her. Okay. So in the article that I wrote this for this week, I talked about being a wounded healer, and I listed some advantages. Okay. I've got 5 major advantages. The first is that wounded healers are usually more aware of their spiritual side, okay? Because very often when we're in pain, we turn to spirit when we're in pain. And people who would label themselves wounded healers have probably experienced a lot of pain. It's not like, oh, I have a light relationship with pain, I'm going to call myself a wounded healer. It's like, no, I have a very deep relationship with pain. I'm a wounded healer, and I'm still suffering with pain, perhaps. And that long time relationship with pain will often imply a long time relationship with spirit, where it's a lot of dialoguing and getting to understand these deep root causes of the pain. Whether we can heal them in ourselves or not, that's not the issue. The issue is that we've learned a lot, and when we have information that we can give to other people that can be very, very beneficial for them. That relationship with pain makes us extremely compassionate, and often wounded healers are not very judgmental, because we tend to carry around a feeling of look, I don't want to say that wounded healers feel unworthy, but a lot of what we carry around is rooted in unworthiness, right? And it's a part of our soul's journey to deal with unworthiness. I am a spiritual life coach, and my pain point is unworthiness. That's the thing I help my clients deal with. I've built an entire 1-year program based on unworthiness. And it's because I know it so well. And let's face it, this kind of wounding comes from, it's symbolic of a relationship with unworthiness. So we're not super judgmental. It doesn't mean we don't have, we can't be judgmental. We can be judgmental with things that bug us. But when it comes to people and the things you're going through, wounded healers are extremely empathic and extremely compassionate, right? We have really high emotional intelligence and we know how to deal with pain. We also have a really strong need to help other people, right? So we understand how powerful spiritual transformation, emotional transformation, we understand the benefits that come along with that. And even for me doing this 40-day fast, you know, I'm already sharing about it here with you. I've already shared about it in another group. And it's just, I feel the need to share what I'm going through because I know that what the pain I'm feeling is going to help another person. Someone is going to get uplifted by a post I made, you know, or whatever I'm doing. Somebody's going to get uplifted, and that matters to me because it's a natural impulse that's in me, and you probably have it in yourselves as well. Also, wounded healers, we are extremely resilient. Like, universe can send us some stuff. Universe can send us some stuff and then send us some more stuff. And we'll be like, oh, that was heavy. And then the universe, and then we'll be like, hey, but I'm good. I trust this life. This is a wonderful thing about being a wounded healer. We'll be down, but we'll be like, hi, I'm still here. I'm still strong, right? And the universe will send us something else that's rotten. And we'll be like, oh, gosh, that was, but I'm still here. You know, I'm still strong. It's amazing, our resilience, you know, and that's what makes us quite flexible. And it gives us access to those positive emotions. So when we see other people that are struggling in the dark emotions, we know how to relate to them and be in that dark place, but then we're also the perfect people to say, come on, you got this. Come on, just try to stand up one more time. You can do this. We are really qualified because we are doing it ourselves. So imposter syndrome, you have no place here. We're living it, okay? So one of the things that I like to think about is how we can kind of take our subjectivity and turn it into objectivity, right? So we kind of think like, oh, being subjective is negative, like, oh, me looking at things from my world, that's kind of like, we don't want to be selfish, right? But when it comes to kind of having a negative experience, it's really a great way to it's a great way to help other people by sharing the intimacy of your own personal subjective experience. It gives people hope, and it lets them understand that they are not alone. And if you can manage to share your subjectivity without being too much of a narcissist, then you can really do the world a favor. You know, you can really help others by sharing your personal perspective. So I want to open this up because I don't want to chat. I don't want to be the only one talking. I want to give you all a chance to share your perspectives, because I know that you all have got some things to share. So I want to just kind of maybe take a moment and have you all introduce yourselves. Okay, so whoever wants to go first, just unmute yourself and say hi. And if you're too shy, you don't have to. You don't have to speak. All right. Nobody's speaking.
I'll speak.
Hi.
Hi, my name's Sophia, and I do sound healing. And I participated in the group because I like you. I've followed you for years, and I just wanted to be a part of a group.
Yeah.
So to stay away from isolation and more kind of connect with people.
Yeah. Fantastic. Um,
Yeah.
I'm sorry, I'm gonna just make this comment, which I hope is not inappropriate, but I gotta say your nails and your hands are so pretty. That
Thank you.
that's a that is a color. That is the color. That is the
I got them done yesterday. It was a little bit of an inspiration thing.
mm,
So, and
beautiful.
I, yeah, thank you. I really resonate with what you're talking about because I think actually doing any kind of coaching or healing or really anything in that format, it gives you a very solid foundation to really being human in very difficult situations. As you say, you know, the trauma is what we're overcoming in our own lives, which makes us reach out. And I mean, it's essential, and pretty much I think most humans have
Yeah.
gone through an extensive amount of trauma.
Yeah.
So, and as in my healing practice, I view myself really as just a facilitator. I'm
Yeah.
facilitating an experience
Yeah.
and allowing someone to go through that in a very safe space.
Yeah.
Because when you're releasing trauma, you need to feel very safe in order to even let that out.
Yeah. Well said, Sophia. I mean, honestly, and I can only really feel safe with someone who can see me and someone who understands me. And I like my healers, like one of the best healers I've ever had was a former prostitute. You know, she was a rape victim, and she lived on the street, and she took her energy, transformed it, and started providing healing service and body work. And boy, I remember working with her, just having a complete mind reversal, because she could just take all that pain of mine and, you know, dash it away. It was so, so powerful, so powerful.
Yeah, and the experience you just shared, it really offers a link to the subject of non-judgmental approach to it because really she had those experiences. They were just experiences that she survived.
Yeah,
And we're really kind of all just going through these experiences, but it really ties in that thing with not judging somebody.
yeah,
She was a prostitute. Are you going to judge her? You
right.
know, but yet she's actually made uh, um, she's made her whole life path according to those experiences.
Exactly. And, you know, for whatever reason, she and I were a vibrational match to one another. And like I said, she helped me see so much. And and what a blessing, you know, what a blessing. And one of the things I'm a wounded healer. I have lots of triggers. Okay. I'm triggered by lots of things. And one of the things that I'm mostly triggered by in the spiritual community are people who deny pain and deny negative emotions. And you know, they deny anger, and they create a mindset that somehow you're wrong for feeling the way you do, or somehow you're not evolved, or you can't evolve, or you can't ascend, or you can't elevate yourself if you are not emotionally perfect on the positive end of the spectrum. As if there's some kind of cutting point that says, okay, all these are good and acceptable, and all of these are bad and not acceptable. And for me, I think one reason why I showed you the photo, and even why I took the photo today, is because a lot of what we share on social media is very positive oriented. And I am positive. I get up every morning and I'm thankful, but I get mad. I get, like I said, I've been heartbroken. I have feelings. I have emotions. I have fears. And my overall vibration is probably more toward the positive end, but it doesn't mean that I don't enjoy. I enjoyed, like when I was crying this morning, it felt good to be in that fear, to be in that sadness and that loneliness. It was a blessing. I just think there's space for all of that in our lives, and wounded healers are kind of the torch bearers for understanding this. Now, Simone, I want to invite you in if you'd like to join the conversation. You might be busy taking care of the family. Maybe you're just pottering around, but if you're there and want to chat, just unmute yourself. But in the article I wrote, I have some ways for you to kind of, I listed some ways that you can kind of bring in. So here's the problem with being a wounded healer, okay? The problem with being a wounded healer is that sometimes your vibration is dominated by the wound. And look, I'm not judging any spectrum. I don't judge hate. I don't judge deception. I don't judge peace. I don't judge any of them. But I know that in my own life, I function better and I feel better and I have better experiences when my vibration overall is moving toward that lighter end of the spectrum. All right. So even though I don't disparage the heavier emotions, I really, I like what happens when I'm on the higher spectrum. So I think that as wounded healers, as healers who have come to this earth with a story, right? And that wounding doesn't have to be about this lifetime. It could be from your previous lifetimes. I'm in touch with 2 of my past lives who have dealt with my issues. The issues I got today, both of them were dealing with, and both of them dealt with them unsuccessfully. So it's up to me now to get it right. So that when I come back the next time, I'll be free of those things. But your wounds in this lifetime are an opportunity for you to, of course, understand, but also for you to overcome or not. That's part of what I want to say. The other thing is your vibration matters. And so in the article, I talked about some ways that you can kind of make sure you're taking care of yourself while you are experiencing your woundedness. Number one thing always, meditation and mindfulness. So I believe in meditating at least once a day. I like to meditate in the morning and I tend to pray at night, just because that's that feels good to me. But the thing I think I should say is that I think it's good to bookend your day with spirit. So starting with meditation, ending with journaling is a great way, or starting with prayer, ending with meditation, whatever. Just do something to start and end your day with spirit. That's a great start. And then if you can develop a practice of creating like a really nice daily practice. So I start with meditation, then I move, I meditate anywhere from 20 to 45 minutes. And then I move into journaling and doing shadow work. I like to write down what's on my mind, but I also like to write down my intentions for the day. Simone, in the group, you yesterday, or was it this morning? No, it was last night. You wrote down everything you did that day. And I'm like, that's what you do. And your list looked like my list, but how my list starts in the morning. So I write down everything that I want to do and I write down the attitude I'm going to do it in, right? So I call this focusing my will and intention, so that at the beginning of the day, I'm like, okay, this is what I'm doing. This is the attitude I'm taking. I have to fulfill my promise to myself, right? And then after that, after I do my journaling, I then turn on an inspirational speaker and I'll either watch the video or I'll listen to that while I'm making up my bed and getting ready for my run or getting ready for my exercise. And then I go out, do my run, and that's my morning practice that I do every single day. It's that same kind of simple, basic thing, but it's my habit now. So doing that kind of thing is really helpful. Now, do either one of you have a daily practice that you do?
Yeah, for me, my days pretty much go like what I posted yesterday.
Mhm.
That's always my goal. Um, I start every day off in meditation and just getting quiet and focused. I think about how I wanna feel that day.
Yeah,
Um, I'm really getting into the chakra, so I've been enjoying that. Just being intentional with the chakra healings,
yeah,
and um, yeah, once I'm done with that, I get my coffee and then I journal. I
yeah.
do a lot of brain journaling. That's that's been very helpful for me to like
Wait,
dump
so wait, say what kind of journaling?
brain dumping.
Oh yeah,
I'm
definitely.
my parents. I'm kind of just around the house and I'm doing some things in the kitchen right now.
That's okay.
But brain dumping really is helpful for me, and so I do 15 minutes of that, and pretty much in that 15 minutes, I'm just dumping all of my thoughts.
That's it.
And if I'm not thinking anything in that moment, then if I still have time left, then I'm just writing brain dump, brain dump, brain dump, brain dump. But I do it for 15 minutes.
Yeah.
I like to start my work day at like 9. And so that's when I get into, some things that I'm working on, projects and things like
That's
that.
perfect. That sounds like a really nice day. That sounds like
Um,
a really nice day. And you know what else, Simone? Actually, you all, I forgot. There's this important thing that I do. And I got this. Have you all heard about the savor morning practice? Has anyone heard about that?
yeah.
I've forgotten all the things, but it's scripting. It's a acronym. So it's scripting something. Oh God, scripting affirmations. I can't remember. Darn it. But anyway, one of the things that it said was about like the way it said to talk to yourself in the morning. So I started going into the bathroom and giving myself a pep talk after I do my journaling, right? So I go in there and I think about the intentions that I have, and I look in the mirror and I say, Crystal Lynn, you are here. God is around you, and you are here having a human experience. You take charge of this day. What do you want to create today? Since I started doing that, it's been now a month. I have just been feeling so much more connected to myself. I feel like I'm with myself more during the day. It's been beautiful. So if anybody wants to give themselves a pep talk in the morning, I recommend it.
You know what else I had to learn, Crystal, just coming from a religious background?
Yeah,
I had to learn that, like in your mind, you think you're supposed to be doing a particular thing a particular way at a particular time.
yeah,
So I had to learn to break away from a lot of that religious, like that's been the hardest part for me in my journey, because that's my religion is my background. And so even to hear you say, I meditate in the morning and I pray it, like those are still things that I have conflict with within myself, just learning that do what works for you.
yeah,
And it's okay to figure out what works for you,
that's right.
you know. And so those things right now, it's like I'm getting out of that habit of thinking that I have to do a thing a particular way.
That's exactly right. I think that's super important, Simone. Thank you for sharing that. I want to, I see that now, if I'm murdering your name, I apologize. But is it isodine, isodine, isodine? I might be murdering your name. I'm sorry.
Nope,
Um,
that's right.
is it isodine?
That's correct. Yes,
Oh,
ma'am.
that nice. It's so nice to meet you. Hi.
Hi.
I just wanted to acknowledge that you are here, and you're more than welcome to just join in this conversation. We're talking about being a wounded healer.
Okay.
All right, excellent. Um, so the daily practice, does anybody on the call want to share their daily practice? Anybody else? All right. Sophia, go ahead. Don't forget to unmute yourself.
Yeah. So um, I try to do my yoga in the morning,
Yeah.
first thing, just so I can move my body around. And I try not to make it like too crazy in the morning, like just keep it simple, 30 minutes straight, move the body. And then I do mantra. So I sing a mantra in the morning right
Mm-hmm.
after the yoga, and then I do my meditation.
Yeah.
And I wanted to share, I went through a period where for 5 months I was working intensely, where sometimes I'd work 10, 12 hours a day in a job that was not my sound healing in an office. And it destroyed my morning routine. I couldn't sustain it.
Mm-hmm.
And I didn't have even energy for self-care.
Mm-hmm.
I lost, and you can lose it within 3 weeks.
Yeah.
And so it's like constantly returning back to it to find myself back on track. And if I don't have a lot of time, make it shorter, but make it count.
Yeah.
Make it really count. And if I don't do it, I feel like my toleration level drops.
Yep.
I'm not as tolerant. I can't sustain things anymore because again, myself isn't taken care of first in order to give to others.
Yeah. This is exactly what I'm talking about. This is so important, you know. And to be honest with you, one of the reasons why I wake up at 3:30 in the morning, I wake up between 3:30 and 4 o'clock every morning. And the reason I do that is because nobody wants me at 3:30 and 4 o'clock, you know. And I do go to bed at a ridiculously early time. I know that. But to me, it's worth it because if I don't do this, I am not a nice person. I am not clear. I am not healthy. I don't eat right. I reach for food like crazy. I drink. alcohol like crazy. So if I don't do this, I'm a mess. I'm a mess. So I might as well get up at 3:30, and between 3:30 and 6 is my time, and to me, it's restful to be able to just, and I meditate right in my bed because it just feels good. So I sit up, I get my, I turn on my meditation timer. I have my journal right next to the bed, and I sit up. There's no talking, there's no thinking, there's no distraction, there's no Facebook, there's no nothing, and I just sit right up. I breathe. I feel my body. I do a little bit of movement with my hips, to get that going. And then I just sit and I count my breath and I, journey, do whatever I'm doing here. This is what I'm doing. And then I can go out and do the day. I go out, I go run, 5-6 miles, and I come back. I got the dog, do boom, 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 boom. The world can have me because I have spent time in communion with spirit and with myself. And it feels good to give myself to other people after I've had that for myself, very important. Now I want to, let's see, oops, I lost my article. Here it is. Okay, so one of the other things I recommend is self-compassion. So I want to know if you all can just type it in the chat if you want to, or you can feel free to unmute yourself. I want to know who is really good at giving themselves self-compassion. Who really rocks the self-compassion here? You're not too critical of yourself. You're not particularly hard on yourself. When you do something wrong, you're just like, that's okay. We got this. You're good. Go ahead and let me know how you all do with that. I have to admit that the negative self-talk, my negative self-talk was disguised. It was silent talk, but it was a negative projection of feelings. So I talked about this in the Elevate Your Lifestyle challenge, where I was seeing the world through disappointment. There maybe would be no words, but there was a feeling of just disappointment about everything. There was a lot of resentment and there was a lot of jealousy. And there was no self-compassion that was happening, which is why I felt disappointment and jealousy and resentment, because I wasn't giving anything to myself. I didn't deserve anything. So I couldn't welcome in anything. So I'm wondering, let me ask you this. What would be your kind of negative self-talk dialogue? What's your kind of key negative self-talk dialogue that you have with yourself? Sophia says, she says that she's learning to say, this too shall pass. So live this experience and then let it go. How easy is that to do? I'm totally being facetious right now because I'm trying that too. I really am, Sophia. Yeah, I'm trying to live in that moment of just let it go. This was why I'm doing the fast, so that I can release all those distractions and really come to just trusting that, that energy, the light of God is real, right? The light of spirit is the only reality. Therefore, it's okay that this thing didn't go right. It's okay. I'm going to be all right. It's just really hard, but that's why I had to do the fast, because I'm just tired of my own dialogue around these things. I want to learn to just, I'm at the age now where I must surrender myself to God. And Sophia says that her negative talk is, that she wasn't good enough, that it wasn't good enough. Yeah, that's a really, I want to say that that's a tough one, because to me that feels like, it feels like a sense of, I don't know how to describe this. You know how, there's this idea of, when this happens, I'm going to be better. Like, when I achieve this, then I'm going to be happy. Or when I do that, then I'll be able to relax. The problem is that you never get there. And that's what this is kind of bringing up for me. It's as if this is not good enough yet, but one day maybe it will be, and it's kind of like this empty hope of, yeah, maybe this will be good enough and maybe that'll be good enough, but it never actually is good enough until you really just learn to surrender and say, hey, actually, I'm okay. And for me, I think this is just really important.
For me,
Now,
I think
go ahead, Simone.
for me, it's my self-talk always goes like, here we go again, here you go again, not finishing, here you go again, you know, and what I want to get to the point where I don't allow that to carry on, because I know how to offer compassion to myself because I'm constantly telling others how to do it. I'm like, what would you say to me if it was me, So I know how to talk to myself and support myself, but when you're in the moment, I don't do it. It
Yeah,
takes days or weeks. And my recent episode, becoming a new entrepreneur for me has been like, oh my God, like it has been a journey all by itself, just becoming an entrepreneur.
right.
And so this recent episode of disappointment, like I literally, until yesterday, I literally just allowed myself to be like, you're not going to get this right. Here you go again. You won't do, you can't do, you need to be disciplined. You need to, all of these things that I'm saying to myself. And this had been going on for like a month,
Yeah,
to the point where everything was like a big disappointment. So I'm questioning my whole entire life. Like,
yeah,
okay, you're 40 some years old, blah, 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 blah. I mean, it was just crazy. So I want to learn in the moment to just, okay, offer yourself support. Like, it's okay. Try
that's
again
it.
tomorrow, and not have to go through all of the emotions for weeks before I get to that conclusion.
Exactly. And and a lot of this has to do with, what needs to be healed within us. And
Mhm.
one of the things I wrote, the next thing I wrote in the article is to acknowledge your suffering, right? And that is a way to offer yourself some compassion. This journey of suffering that we are on is not a joke. Like, it's real energy, it's energy, and it matters. It has reverberations, um, for ourselves, but for the world around us as well, for our plants, for our animals, for our walls, for our community. And I feel like, as wounded healers, I've always been very proud to be able to help other people. But I have to say that this is the first year that I've actually changed my relationship with myself and my own wounding, and it feels, it's been actually very powerful to just, like I said, I got rid of that key negative emotion, and I'm just not as upset as I was before. There's not this underlying feeling of disappointment and resentment. And now, I mean, the very fact that I'm reaching for God is because I feel like, gosh, I don't have disappointment or resentment to distract me anymore. What am I supposed to do with my life? And I'm like, well, I have a life. What am I going to do with it? So I started reaching for goals, like I signed up for the Paris Marathon, and I started changing my eating habits, and I've lost a lot of weight, and I'm running and everything. And I'm like, but why? Why are you doing those things? And then I realized, well, maybe because I'm actually missing something, and let me go and talk to God about it. And certainly God was like, yeah, I've been sitting here waiting for you to lay down all the pain and all the distractions so that we could hang out together, and let's just hang out and let's co-create something. What do you want to co-create? And I'm like, well, I don't know. Let's talk about it. And that's where we are. Right. But as healthy as my practice is, there's still some crap in there. There's still issues that I deal with. There's still my distractions. And of course, my distractions aren't that much. I like to run and listen to Cardi B when I'm running. I love gangster rap when I'm running. I don't know why. I just do. Come on, let's face it. You give me a beat and give me an attitude. I'm running with an attitude. It's just an opportunity for me to let my alter ego out, Yeah.
Wow, that is so me. And I want to just say real quick, you are so spot on with the once I let go of the disappointment, like prayer is my thing. Like prayer life, when I went through my whole little thing, I'm like, okay, prayer is still my thing.
Yeah.
That's my thing.
Yeah.
And this morning, like as I sat on the side of my bed, like I went into a prayer that I hadn't went into in a long time.
Mm-hmm.
And so only because I let go of that disappointment where I was able to pray effectively.
That's what I'm talking about.
You are so spot on. I'm almost in tears again talking to you for the second time today, but
Yeah,
that is so spot on. Like I
that's
was
it.
able to cover my children like I normally do, and cover my husband, and be grateful and speak life over things this morning.
Yeah. And look, this is the reason why we have to do this kind of work, And again, we love wounded healers, but we need to also like understand what carrying around those wounds, and like, the where we place those wounds in our life, and how much energy we let those wounds, how much we let them influence our world. That's on us. It's not about the wound. It's about how much we are willing to be the leader in our life, to manage our energy. And the goals that I have for myself are much bigger than what I could have handled by carrying around disappointment and resentment and jealousy, So I needed to have a clear canvas so that I could remember that, oh yeah, God exists, and actually God likes me. We can have a relationship, and we can really create. Now I can start to see what comes next, what comes next. So ladies, I want to look, we're almost at the top of the hour, and I want to just wrap things up here. I want to thank you for joining me, first of all. And I want to also let you know that this group, the League of Badass Butterflies group, will be, I have a whole year of curriculum set up for us. And my virtual assistant and I've got two that I'm working with now. We are getting things in order for us here in this group. So just be patient for the next week, let's say, as we're kind of putting together all the materials and getting ready to roll things out for you. And I'll also just kind of give you a little bit of a heads up. In March, we're going to have a membership that will be starting. And that is kind of that's a membership where we're going to be talking about mindset. You know, like what kind of mindset do you need in order to have that success that you want as a spiritual professional. I'm saying it that way because sometimes it gets confusing. You know, sometimes the emotions are more than we can handle for ourselves. You know, we feel we need help sometimes. And that's what that next, the membership is going to be about, kind of really taking on these issues of mindset, looking at our habits, looking at the things that are important for us, looking at the root causes for our stuckness, but also making us come out of this limited perspective so that we can start thinking about what we really want to create in a big way, right? And we would do that together as a group, just start exploring that stuff. But I'll talk to you more about that soon, okay? Do y'all have any questions or anything you want to say before we start signing off? I feel really good.
I just wanted to share the thought that, you know, this whole conversation of what we're focusing on, of our sort of human suffering or trauma or pain,
Mhm.
you know, at the end of the day, it's the beauty of it all, ironically,
Yeah.
that is allowing us to share and expand that with the world, who's also having that same, maybe not the same experience, but a similar human experience. So thank you for that. And it's ironically very beautiful too.
Yeah. Yeah. Thank you so much for saying that, Sophia, because it's a beautiful experience. And it has its own resonance. It has its own frequency. I think about Billie Holiday um, and Ella Fitzgerald. Billie Holiday was that kind of dark horse with the drug addiction and the deterioration that we could see of this, you know, amazing artist who lived, you know, she succumbed to drugs, and it's a dark story, but it's a beautiful story, you know. And then you have Ella Fitzgerald, who didn't have that same dark story, a much lighter story, a much lighter voice, much more acceptance. Another beautiful story, but it's the story of light and it's the story of dark. And both of them are beautiful. Both of them are beautiful, beautiful voices, you know, beautiful sensuality, beautiful soul, beautiful depth, but just two different stories. And I'm happy that I can relate to both. All right, my friends. So it's wonderful to see you here. And we will be back in 2 weeks to do this again. And I will be back next week with some stuff. Just I'll be in the group posting. All right. So keep your eyes open. Thank you so much, everyone. Thank you. Bye, everybody. Bye.